library trustees, has been a library trustee, and I'm speaking on behalf of both myself and Representative Steve Kulik, who I'm not sure, we pass each other on the highways. He may be by here yet before we know it, but whoever's there first does the presentation in case the other misses the opportunity. So before I present official citations, I just want to express real admiration and affection for you, Shirley, for what you've contributed to this community. And as a library trustee, you have participated, I know, because I've seen you at many regional meetings, and so you have been part of the movement of building and keeping libraries strong here in Massachusetts. And when Alexis de Tocqueville, the French writer, traveled across America in the 1800s, he commented on a number of things, one of which was that he saw in the American people the potential to vote themselves more benefits than they were willing to pay for. But this is not a discussion about taxes and budget. But he also observed that Americans had this extraordinary knack for organizing themselves into groups to solve problems and to work together to address things that the communities needed. And among the things that he used as an example was the burgeoning library movement in America, and how it provided a place where people could come together to explore ideas, to meet with each other, to talk, to get a book, to share an idea, to open a book and travel to places in the world in their minds that they would not be able to ever travel to on their own in real life. So libraries have become enormously important community institutions, and we work to try to preserve and grow them, but it doesn't happen without the dedicated service and leadership of people like Shirley. And we were talking to some of the other trustees, and we lost track, but we were well over 100 years of service as I was adding it up among the existing trustees. And Shirley, you've given 38 years of devoted, dedicated service to this community through your service on the Library Commission here, and the beautiful library that you helped create, and keeping alive the ideas and ideals of our self-governing society requires a place like this where people can come and find the books and the material and the information they need in order to be informed and to participate in our collective life together. So I'm going to present to you two citations, one from the House of Representatives, which is in this very nice white folder with blue printing on it. And it's to Shirley, and in recognition of 38 years of service. And it's signed by Steve Kulik, your state representative, and Salvatore F. DeMacy. And this is probably the last citation in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts that was signed by Salvatore DeMacy before he left the speakership. And therefore, you basically have a collector's item. And you could go onto the library's computer and go onto eBay and probably get $2.30 for this. And then I also have a citation from the Massachusetts Senate, which is in a beautiful blue folder. And given how little imagination we have in the legislature, it says exactly the same thing to Shirley, but it says it from the Senate, and it's signed by Therese Murray, the first woman to ever head either legislative body in the Massachusetts legislature, and myself as your state senator. And I present these to you on behalf of the 200 members of the legislature with appreciation for the extraordinary service that you've delivered to this community. And I hope you enjoy having both of these in your home, because they are the first and last free things you're ever going to get from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Thank you all for coming, and thank you, Stan. Shirley has frequently asked what her starting date on the board was. We've had a few conversations, and well, today she'll get her answer. I've been spending a lot of time in the library minutes. But before I get to her starting date, I will say a few words about another Graves who served on the board, Betsy Graves, Shirley's mother-in-law. Shirley told me a couple of times that she replaced her mother-in-law on the board, but she didn't. Betsy Graves, according to the minutes, submitted her resignation letter dated February 10, 1965. A letter was sent to Mrs. Graves, Betsy Graves, thanking her for her 40 years of service. So she had a very long run. So Betsy Graves had a long run, as well as Shirley Graves.
Well, she called me, you see, because she wanted to retire.
She wanted to retire. She obviously was working on you, wasn't
It
she?
was the old library, so she said a Graves has to be on the
Right, exactly. Shirley attended her first meeting on March 2nd, 1970. That's in the record. I'm wondering if you remember all of this.
Oh, yeah.
Dean Scudder was elected chair, and he presided that night. Mrs. Yurkovich was elected secretary. And what was the order of business that night? Discussion of librarian salary. It was National Library Week was approaching, and an open house with exhibits and arrangements for the historical room, which was on the second floor at that time, to be open part of the week. Mrs. Dill requested that the Sunderland Women's Club be allowed to plan that exhibit. Do you remember that first meeting? I'm going to go from decade to decade, pulling out a few pertinent points. At the December 1st, 1975 meeting, after a discussion, and it was probably long because trustees never have short discussions, we go on forever. The board decided to divide itself into 5 subcommittees. Marcia Zabriskie, trustee at the time, said, and I quote, "There has to be something better to serving on this board than to gather every 3 months," which they did, "and talk about how much we should pay for snow removal and how much money is left in the budget." So the board divided itself into 4 subcommittees: Buildings and Grounds, Finance, Bicentennial, which was approaching, Friends of the Library, and Community Relations. Shirley, along with Marjorie Yurkovich, were assigned or volunteered or became members of the Friends group. Their job was to organize volunteers for service in community activities and do some fundraising. I don't know whether you remember that or not.
I remember the first half.
You remember? So I concluded that Shirley was an early member of what is now a dynamic, very valuable organization that has grown from maybe 2 members to, one of the friends can tell me how many you have in the organization now, but it's a lot. And they're very, very active and very, very necessary to this operation. In the 1980s, that was a really interesting decade. The 80s were interesting. 2 events occurred that impacted Shirley in a big way. The chair at the time decided to step down. He announced his decision at the December 30, 1984 meeting and called for a special meeting on December 10th. At that meeting, 3 names were placed in nomination to run for chair. Shirley was one nominee withdrew, and the 3rd accepted. The vote was by ballot. 2 names on the ballot, Shirley and this other person. Now, who would you think won that? Remember Shirley? Who won the election?
can't really say I do remember. I remember, but not.
Well, I
You're
won't-
bringing back lots of memories.
Right, well, you won it.
Oh, I should have known.
But what's interesting is the margin. Would anyone like to hazard a guess as to what the margin was?
Landslide.
You get it.
Landslide.
Anybody else? It was a 5-4 win.
Oh, that one was.
Yeah, now, you have to push it a little bit and try to figure out why 5-4, why not a landslide? This is sort of a,
Are you testing me?
no, but it came out in the meeting because the persons who voted against you made some very telling comments.
Oh, dear.
Social, it's kind of anybody? They did not want a woman to chair the board. Okay.
Okay. Did I ever know that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I see it.
They owned up to their vote, yeah. Yeah, but in winning that vote, you became the first woman chair of the library board of trustees. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you chaired your first meeting on January 7th, 1985. But you were the first woman. Shirley's first term began with a major problem. We had noticed the damp and smelly basement, okay, at Graves. And that was where our children's collection was held. Mold was every place, on the walls. It had infected all the books. Walls were infected with mold. All the books had to be discarded. We had essentially no children's library. The basement had to be renovated. The children's library had to be moved after a whole lot of discussion to the second floor of the Graves. Shirley handled the situation with great patience and fortitude. We made the news. There were accounts of what had happened at the library outside of the state. We received books from various parts of the country. People were extraordinarily generous. The friends helped out a lot, raising money. But within a relatively short period of time, the children's library was up and running. We might say that Shirley started her chairing with a bang, but mold is quiet. Jump to the 90s. It's the 90s, and all I have to say is tech revolution. That's what it did. And technology needs space. It's the 90s, and space, more space, is absolutely critical, is absolutely needed. The tech revolution had come to town. I remember Shirley getting old computers from Greenfield Community College. She had some person she knew up there, and when they got through with the computer, they would say, "Would you like it for your library?" So we sort of begged and borrowed and were given gifts that were outdated. On November 13, getting back to the issue of space, 1995, it was reported in the notes that a building committee comprised of Richard Morse, Lauren Starr, and Allison Ernst, our librarian, and Shirley Graves met to strategize planning our future building needs. We knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that that was our future. So Shirley was in the building program from its inception. One last thing. I'm going to have to sort sort of. One last thing that happened in the 90s was the Sharon Bailey arrived in our library on 2/22. That was her first date, 2/22/99, 10 years ago. And very recently, Shirley and I were talking about that, and she's very proud of that appointment, and felt that she had a lot to do with it. Sharon was one of 2 finalists. And Shirley said, and I quote her, that at that time she said, she stood against the board. There was no doubt that she wanted Sharon. And she had to take on the rest of the trustees. She was the trustee who voted for Sharon in the first round, and the rest is history. Sharon went on to serve the library well. She's here today. Perfect librarian for us at the time when we were expanding. So we're now into this little decade. A lot is still going on, and Shirley's still with us, but now she's going to leave us. And she has served the board these 38 years with integrity, devotion. She worked bake sales. I remember coming over to Shirley Graves, and Dick would be carrying the coffee urn and working to clean up a moldy basement, relocating books to the second floor of the children's library. And you can look across now and see what our children's operation is. It's astounding because we remember when there was none. We miss her quiet spirit, her grace under pressure, her wise, and we use that word a lot when we talk about Shirley, her wise guidance. Thank you, Shirley, for these years of service.
We are here today to honor Shirley Graves for her wonderful woman for all of her great service. Shirley has always managed to maintain her southern charm and her graciousness and her accent, despite being surrounded by a bunch of Yankees. That's it. I want to thank Shirley in a couple of ways. First, as in my role as selectman, and as a representative of the town, thank you for all that you've done to help Sunderland improve every year and get this beautiful building built. And also as a member of the Vets Memorial Committee, getting the wonderful memorial that we have down. A lot of work. We have a couple of things in town I'm really very proud of. It's amazing. A town our size has these facilities. And secondly, I want to thank you personally, Shirley, because without you, undoubtedly my life would have been much different. You were really the one, you were an organist in Greenfield at St. James, and undoubtedly my father was complaining sometime after church about his son creating a big dig in the garden again, and you offered for me to come down to the farm and work with the boys, and that brought me to Sunderland and certainly gave me an experience that none of us will ever forget, working with Brad Hollis and Dick, and learning tricks of the trade. And it was a great memory, and certainly made me fall in love with Sunderland. I still have a love-hate relationship with farming, however. But, so thank you, and thank you for all you've done for the town.
This, by the way, is our newest trustee. He is quote-unquote replacing Shirley on the board.
I was just going to say that. I'm taking Shirley's place on the Board of Trustees, and I must say I'm quite flattered to be offered that position. I hope I can live up to the example that you've set. Well, you've set quite an example, and I'm quite happy to fill your shoes if I can. So, the trustees has made a gift for you in commemoration of this day, and we want to present it to you today. A picture of the new library, which you helped steer into being. So, thank you for your time.
Oh, isn't that I think I know exactly where I will put it. Where I can see it last thing at night and remember very pleasant memories. And I'll see it first thing in the morning. And then start my day off. And I'll be very happy. Thank you very much.
I think we're going to have a little video now.
Oh, no.
I just want to cry all the time with joy and anticipation. Oh dear, did I put this one on upside down?
Going fabulous. So far, blood, sweat, and a little tears. It's going well.
Well, an hour and a half into the move, how's it going?
I can't believe so much got done, and it's only 10 after 9.
I know.
I'll bet you they'll be done by 2 o'clock.
So basically, the library can be open for business, say, by 3?
Don't quote me.
Well, Tom, I'm beginning to realize that maybe I underestimated how large the nonfiction collection is, and I'm trying not to panic because I may have my shelvers having to shift everything over, but they're a clever crew, and I'm sure we'll manage to do what we need to do.
We won't tell them.
Okay.
He did.
How you doing? You think so? You know, the Leverett Library moved their entire collection in 2 hours, and their collection is twice as small as ours. So we've just hit the 2-hour mark. We're in really good shape.
So I didn't realize there was a competition.
Don't get me in trouble, Tom.
Very neat. Very, very neat. Neat experience. And so quick, too.
We're gonna get these right.
This is going to be 9 inches here.
Okay.
Library director's been in twice already to check on this, the progress of this, so it must be an important detail.
Friends have our very own storage room.
Wow!
This is huge compared to that basement.
Oh, way to go. Good job.
That's impressive.
Break time or what?
We're out of boxes. So we're waiting for the boxes. Yep.
Stop sitting around. I know you're not doing anything yet. Oh, bring us a box. Oh my God, you guys.
Let's hear what do you think?
Wow. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
So what are you going to do?
I think I'm gonna stay, Tom. Should I stay here? What's the title?
But what's the title? Or no,
Homecoming? Homecoming.
What? What do you have there?
Put that on.
Here we go.
And this was not pre-planned, was it?
No, this was just the way it worked out.
Here we go. I've got 10:57.
That's it.
You got it.
We got it.
Yeah.
How does it feel to roll into my own library? I'm very excited. I'm very excited about it.
Well, I'm getting used to it. Yeah. It's exciting. It really is, yes. Pardon?
Dream come true?
Yes. Yes, I would say so. Because the object is to grow and to serve and we can do that much better here now. Okay.
This is the young adult area.
Well, I'm trying to broaden my horizons. You know, I know that this is just nice to sit here and savor this space.
It's a very nice building. The first time I've been inside, it looks very nice.
Oh, there's that Dion chick there.
Go away.
What
You
are
got
you
enough
doing?
pictures of
No, I got you finally working.
I am alphabetizing the nonfiction in the children's library, which is very out of whack.
This might be the hot spot of the community right here.
Shirley, you're still here.
Yes, I'm still here.
Another 20 minutes and the whole library is going to be cleaned out.
You think so?
21 minutes.
Wow. It would be fun to, not fun, but I'd like to see it now. It's quite different, I'm sure.
Again, we'll be here to see the last of the books coming in.
All right.
Transition.
Well, the people have been so good as I look down this way and around. The shelves are just filling up. It's amazing.
Right before your eyes.
Right before my eyes, this thing is coming to life. And that's That's great.
Break time's over, get back to work.
All right. Wrap it up. Well, we're almost done. The last box is in the building. I guess it's a new era for libraries in Sunderland, and I say welcome to the Sunderland Public Library. Thank you so much for We want to thank Tom Zimnowski for putting that video together. We're also joined here today by Sheila McCormick, who will be our director beginning next week. Not that we're counting the days, but I want to say hello. She's back there, and we're very glad she's here today. And on behalf of the trustees, we thank you all for coming, and we salute Shirley, and we hope that you'll eat all the food we have out. So thank you very much.